Hello and welcome to episode number 18 of WITM Season 6. And it is time finally to determine who will be the winner of Group B in the tournament to crown a number one contender to the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. We already know the winner of Group A. That man is Isaiah Swerve Scott, who swept Group A, winning all of his group matches. But Group B was a little bit more complicated. Akira, Tozawa, and Gerald, after their three group matches, are tied at 2-1 for the lead. Only one man can win Group B, and that man will be decided right here, right now. Will it be Akira Tozawa? Will it be Gerald? Normally, a match of this magnitude, we would have a promo segment or backstage interviews to build this up, but these are two men that don't have a bad word to say about each other or a bad word to say about the man who reigns as NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Andrew Spudstrong. Both of these men, Gerald is a close friend of Andrew's. Akira Tozawa has been a close friend of Andrew's, and both of them have been allies in making sure the Cruiserweight division stays alive throughout the past few seasons of WITM. That said, both of them would love to be the man to get the first shot in Season 6 at Andrew's NXT Cruiserweight title. Which man moves on in the tournament and is declared the winner of Group B? Which man is eliminated? Let's find out and get this huge Cruiserweight matchup underway. It's Gerald versus Akira Tozawa to determine the Group B winner.
And his opponent from Charlotte, North Carolina, weighing in at 205 pounds, Gerald.
All power, he contains it. The man on his own, the band that had thrown him approach across stainless. Death couldn't shake him or derail. 3 nails could pierce but couldn't break him and make him appear taken away from his mere nature. Not while slumber is hovering over the block, I pray that my peers wake up. We were born out of alignment, the perfect timing is now to check for a pulse. If you ain't rock by him, high and prone to be biased when I peep the timeline behind him and see no highness as high as him. He reigns Lord, firearms are too short to aim for him. Call him extremist, he leaks Katrinas with his brainstorming. That's quite enormous, to say the least. Our God is a beast, his rap is the sound of a lion roaring. Since he's top by none, I'm on hip-hop's front line, screaming from the top of my lungs. Our God!
There's the bell. This match is underway after weeks. While the tournament's been going on pretty much since we began Season 6. And we're finally 18 episodes in, going to find out who the winner of the Group B is and the two men who will compete for the right to face the NXT Cruiserweight Champion Andrew Spudstrong in his WWE return at NXT TakeOver in your house. That's right. the Cruiserweight Championship match will take place at NXT TakeOver in your house, where Andrew will defend his title against either Akira Tozawa, Gerald, or Isaiah Swerve Scott. That field, of course, will be narrowed down to 2 following this match, with the number 1 contenders match taking place on the next edition of NXT. I know I said in the last episode that TakeOver in your house is the next episode. I do apologize. It is actually 9 universe days away from this point. Backlash is 16 days away. We still have a week of regular shows before we get to TakeOver in your house. I thought it was the next show. So
in the clutches. He's just about there.
But that does give us a silver lining of us knowing that the Cruiserweight Championship match will take place now at TakeOver in your house, rather than on a regular episode of NXT. Andrew versus Gerald Tozawa or Isaiah Swerve Scott, depending on the winner of the tournament. Now back to the action at hand. Gerald, if you look at your HUD, does have about twice as much momentum built up as Tozawa, but Tozawa is the man currently on the offensive as he poses a little bit. Takes a little bit of tribute to Hulk Hogan.
Furious offense from Tozawa. Keeping the pressure on.
These are two men that respect each other, but they're willing to get a little bit dirty to get this huge win here, as Tozawa suicide dive. I think Gerald just crashed to an invisible wall at the bottom of the entrance ramp. 2K20. Now Gerald's sent to an actual physical object that we can see, the bottom of the steel steps. And Gerald returning the favor with Tozawa crashing to the ground before he can get to the barricade. Now Gerald forces Tozawa to his feet, and they take this fight back inside the ring. Please keep it inside the ring. No more counters, please. Tozawa now has a momentum advantage over Gerald, turning momentum literally into his favor. But here comes Gerald on the attack, missing, however, with that elbow, giving Tozawa another chance to go on the offensive. But Gerald was able to fight him off with a series of elbows. Tozawa catches the leg and sends Gerald crashing into the ropes and his body into the yellow zone. Tozawa now with a very slight momentum advantage, as well as a health advantage. There's a kick to the gut of Tozawa, and a reversal from Tozawa. There's an elbow to the back, and now Gerald going to work on the head of Tozawa. The hold is locked in. And Tozawa with a stomp to the foot and an elbow to, I believe, the neck is where that landed. He's able to reverse and send Gerald's head into the yellow zone. Both men very close to signature maneuver. It's going to be Gerald who gets his first and immediately uses it. The big boot to send Tozawa's body into the yellow zone, but is that enough for Gerald to win Group B? It nearly is. Gerald in shock that it was not, but Tozawa powers out at 2. Gerald sending Tozawa down to the canvas. He has that spear in play. Tozawa rolling out of the way, trying to regroup. Backbreaker from Gerald, setting Tozawa's body into the orange zone. If he can hit a spear to that injured body of Tozawa, he just might be able to put this match away. But Gerald starting to show some exhaustion, but he hits that spear, sending Tozawa's body into the red zone. Is that enough? No, Tozawa powers out at 2.5. Gerald, you do not see him getting angry very often. But a match of this magnitude, who can blame him? Disagreeing there with the official. But that allows Tozawa an opening. Gerald's brief bout of anger may cost him this opportunity. There's a signature maneuver from Tozawa. And he's wasting no time looking for a finisher.
Akira Tozawa, big move.
We've seen this move put away heavyweights as well as cruiserweights. The suplex bridge into a cover is not enough. Gerald powers out at 2.5, but Tozawa's going for a comeback sequence. If Gerald doesn't stop this, Tozawa can do the signature and finisher all over again. And he will get that opportunity. The comeback sequence is successful. There's the signature. That huge roundhouse kick. Both Gerald's body and head in the orange zone. Tozawa goes for cover. And still Gerald powers out at 2.5.
Looks like he still has some gas left.
Great resiliency shown by Gerald. But ever since Gerald's brief bout of anger over that cover, it's been all Akira Tozawa. Can Gerald turn momentum back into his favor and avoid Tozawa using that finisher that may finish the match? Gerald's head now in the red zone. Tozawa going to work on the arm of Gerald. He wants every part of Gerald's body to be in pain. But Gerald is able to break the hold. Spinning on his head to do so. Okay. Gerald or Rooney, I guess. Tozawa does still have that bridging suplex, his finisher, in play. Gerald able to reverse. Gerald has a finisher in play as well. It could be next finisher wins the matchup. There's an enziguri from Tozawa. Tozawa exhausted as well. You can see him just drenched in sweat. Both these men are beaten, battered, and exhausted. But this is a must-win matchup. And they know the importance of it. Gerald wisely puts up the knees as Tozawa was trying to take flight. There's an arm drag from Tozawa. And a suplex. Gerald forced into a seated position. Tozawa going for the elbow strikes on the ground. Gerald reverses it. Now has a signature as well as a finisher. Backbreaker from Gerald. If he can hit those two moves, the signature and the finisher, that would probably be enough. There is a spear, but not the type of spear we expected. Suicide spear from Gerald to the outside. High risk move. Will it lead to a high reward as they take the fight back inside the ring? Neckbreaker from Tozawa, sending Gerald's head into the red zone as well. Both these men at risk of injury at this point.
Big reversal.
Reversal from Gerald. There's the big boot. The signature he had built up. Gerald goes for cover. Does he win Group B? Yes, he does. This incredible tournament for Gerald, an underdog story, is going to continue. Gerald is one of the final two men, one of the group winners in this tournament. He will face Isaiah Swerve Scott on NXT for the right to face Andrew for the Cruiserweight title at TakeOver in Your House.
Here is your winner, Gerald!
Impressive showing for the win tonight.
Well, we know that saying about the best laid out plans.
Didn't come against the Tozawa tonight. Guys, it sounds like they can all agree that was an extremely impressive win.
Yeah, I like that. I always wanted to flip this joint. Let's get it, yeah.
Okay, and here is your results and rankings update for this edition of 205 Live. Finally, we have some non-tournament cruiserweight matches. The first on this card is Oni Lorcan, managed by his tag team partner Danny Burch, defeating Arya Daivari. Isaiah Swerve Scott, who already clinched Group A in the #1 Contenders Tournament, having a little bit of a tune-up match before he faces the winner of the next result you'll see on the next edition of NXT to determine the #1 contender to the NXT Cruiserweight title, and he defeated Brian Kendricks with a successful tune-up for Isaiah Scott. His hot streak continues. And Gerald, we've seen him rise as an underdog and shock us before. We're talking about a former Universal Champion, former Intercontinental Champion. At one point, he held both those titles at once. Are we about to see another huge story in the career of Gerald with a cruiserweight title? He just one match away from earning the opportunity to face his good friend Andrew Spudstrong for the cruiserweight title. He will face Isaiah Swerve Scott at NXT to determine the number one contender and Andrew's opponent at TakeOver in Your House in 9 days. But for now, let's take a look at the Cruiserweight Division rankings. I did, by the way, create a copy of the Cruiserweight title and place it on 205 Live. That way only Cruiserweights get booked on 205 Live. Before it was the entire NXT roster. But we're still going to be using the NXT's rankings since that's the main show that 205 Live is affiliated with for the rankings that we use. The Cruiserweight Champion is Andrew Spudstrong, number one contender Isaiah Swerve Scott, number 2 Gerald, but of course Andrew's next opponent will be determined by the winner of the match between Scott and Gerald on next edition of NXT. The men who are trying to rise up the rankings and perhaps be the first one to face the winner of that match are at number 3 Jake Atlas, number 4 Tony Nese, number 5 Oni Lorcan, number 6 Akira Tozawa, number 7 Raul Mendoza, number 8 Austin Rage, number 9 Brian Kendrick, number 10 Ari Daivari. So now we advance to Monday Night Raw. Will we see the Bank Robbers and, at this point, one of the Blood Brothers, Jake Hayes, in action because Dylan Hayes has been injured from that Raw Tag Title match that took place a few episodes ago, and the creator of that CAW, one of our board members, Aaron, has decided to keep Dylan Hayes out of action for 2 weeks. So, if the Blood Brothers are booked, it will be Jake Hayes in a singles match. That said, let's take a look at the Raw. Alright, and here is your card for Monday Night Raw. Right off the bat, we see a huge opening match. The game has booked R-Truth to face Aot Master because he is 24/7 champion, a SmackDown superstar who can appear on any brand because he has a 24/7 title. We heard on the previous SmackDown that the Raw superstars have been calling out Aot Master to show up on Raw and give them an opportunity to challenge for the title. And it sounds like R-Truth, the real-life 24/7 champion, is going to be the man to challenge for the title. Actually, I think Tozawa has the title now, but Truth has by far had the most reigns with the title. And he's going to look to have, I believe, his first reign in WITM. But to do that, has to stare death in the face and defeat the Reaper Aot Master. Definitely going to be a tough challenge for Truth. A non-WITM match of note will be Rey Mysterio making his first defense of the United States title since defeating Cesaro for it against Aleister Black. And in the main event is going to be the Bank Robbers in action. This will be a non-title matchup. It will be against the team that the Blood Brothers defeated on main event to earn their opportunity that they came up short on last week. Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne looking to earn an opportunity for themselves. They are technically part of MVP's stable as well, so when we actually have the match, we will likely have MVP managing them. I still need to download an MVP CAW, but that should be set by the time I actually record this episode, probably in a few days. But that is going to do it for episode number 18. Short, but hopefully still enjoyable. If you liked it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you're watching via YouTube. If you're watching on our Facebook page, be sure to like the page, like the post, and perhaps leave a comment. If you would like to join WITM, hey, there's one of our board members online right now, Dalton Roush, actually. If you'd like to join WITM, be sure to upload your characters to Community Creations if you have WWE 2K20 on PS4. If you do not, we can make a call for you. Just head to our WITM website, the link is in the description, and fill out all the necessary information needed there. In either scenario, we will get back to you as soon as possible once you have your submission in. And from there, we have episode number 19 to look forward to, with AI Master finally, for the first time in Season 6, 19 episodes in, defending the 24/7 title on Raw against R-Truth. And then that main event, non-title action, the Bank Robbers in action versus Brendan Bank and Shane Thorne, who will be managed by MVP. Until then, this is Corey with WITM Kyle Wrestling, signing off.